Hey guys, it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Today we're going to learn how to play Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. So it's actually my first Rage Against the Machine song. I didn't even realize that. So we are going to take care of that right now. So we are tuned to drop D tuning. So for those who don't know what that is, take your low E string and tune it down a whole step to D and you'll be in drop D. So it allows you to sound bigger than you really are. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with this intro, which is, if you know what a D major chord is, you basically grab a D major, but don't have the note on the high E string. All right, so what we're going to do is just have the note of the G and the D string, G and the B string there, and then the three low open strings. All right, so you hit that 4 times just like that, and then we go into the main riff, which I was playing at the beginning. All right, so the big thing with this riff is the muting. Now, if you come back down and mute with the pick on the string, it can create noise. So what I like to do is, when I'm doing riffs like this, mute it with my fingers coming down. So I have this open low string, and then let the fingers come down and kill it. So if you can get that timing like that, make it sound really punchy, and then you can go into the, which is very simple, 11, 12 on the D, and then same thing on the G. Then repeat. And the 4th time we have this, which is 11, 12 on the D, but this time just skip right to the 12 on the G and do a whole step bend and release there. All right, so you repeat all that one more time, and then we have this. All right, so that's leading into that main riff coming up. So we have, or the verse. So we had this, the same muted on the low D string 3 times, and then the 6th fret on the A string 3 times. And then on the 4th time, that last thing I hit was an octave. Now, what is an octave if you don't know what it is? It's 6th fret there on the A string, and then 8th fret on the G string there. They're the same note an octave apart. Now we have a string in the middle there that we don't want to be heard. So what we want to do is mute it with the bottom of your index finger. So you're holding the 5th string down with your index, and then letting it touch the kind of meaty part of your finger, touch that D string so it can't really ring. And then you grab the G string there with the 8th fret with your 3rd or 4th finger, whatever's more comfortable. And then when you hit all 3 strings, you only hit the 2 outside ones. You pick that and you slide down. And then we have the verse riff, which sounds like this. All right, so what's going on there? We have this. The low 2 strings open. Then you're going to hammer 3 to 5 on the A. Then you're going to, once again, mute the strings and do a down up on those strings. So you're going to actually hit them, but they're going to be muted. And then you're going to come over to the 3rd fret on the D string and hammer 3 to 4. Back down to the 5th fret on the A string. Open strings again, and then now since we're in drop D, we can do these power chords with 1 finger. So we have, that's the 2nd fret across the low 6th string and the 5th string. Hammer on with your 2nd finger to the same 2 strings on the 5th and 6th string, on the 3rd fret. Back to the 2s, and back to the open. So it is. repeat. Now, when the vocals come in, by the way, I'm pretty much on the neck pickup there. It sounds like he's on his neck pickup for most of the song. It's just, you can just kind of roll the volume off a little bit and just kind of do the same riff. All right, and then we have the chorus riff, which sounds like this. Takes us into this this next section. So let's do this. We have the chorus with this low E open, and then a hammer 3 to 5 again on the A string. The mute the strings, quick down up. You're gonna come up here and grab the 9th fret on the D string. And then the same thing again. This time grab the 8th fret on the D, and then again. And then the 7th fret on the D. Then the low 2 strings open again, and then kind of the same ending as a previous riff, except you can do that hammer from 2 to 3 twice. And repeat. Now the different ending, instead of doing is the second time through, that's the power chord here at the 3rd fret of the A string. So 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the D, and quick downstrokes, bring it up. And now we're to the octave shape, but instead this time at the 6th fret off the A string, it's the 5th fret. So 1 fret lower than you were doing it earlier. And once again, when you play it down, up, down, and then kill it. So you don't want to go. You gotta, every time you hit it, you gotta release the pressure. Don't leave the string. Just let it, just do it to release the pressure of your fingers, just to land on the strings. So that's when they're doing now you do what they told you part right here. So you do this a little bit. And then we start adding a lot of muted strings. Well, it's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, with the strings still muted. So it's. And he starts, there's a little overdub that comes in, some guitar noise, but continuing the riff that's going on underneath it. So it's the same thing again. Some mute noise in, and then kind of play the octave and slide down. So he does that some. Now at the end he does this. So that's just an octave up. So basically an octave on the guitar, if you don't know, is 12 frets. So this is the 5th fret. Move this exact same shape up to the 17th fret. Really be careful and mute all the other strings around it. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's a little triplet feel. And then we're to this riff. So that's that rhythm on those octaves again at the 5th fret. And then that is the power chord, the bottom 2 strings, 3rd fret across the low string and the 5th string. It's a low D. And the 5th string, the 3rd fret, then the 5th with your 3rd finger, both of those strings, and then the 3rd fret on the A. Then we're back to the verse again, which is the same as the first verse, so just kind of the quiet version of this. Except the fourth time through that little riff, we have this little fill. That's just 10, 11, 12 on the A, then the same thing on the D. And then a quick little trill, 10th fret on the G, hammer 11 and pull back up to 10. Then back to the riff, and then it goes into the same chorus riff, played the exact same way and everything. Now, so we continue this this chorus riff. You go back into there's the guitar solo that comes up. Now the guitar solo, I just kind of, you already know the riff that's working on underneath the solo. It's pretty obvious. It's just this one. He just does that underneath the guitar solo. I'm not doing the solo because, you know, I could figure it out. I mean, it's not that difficult of a solo to figure out. It's got a definitive pattern about the picking. But it doesn't sound anything like it, so it's not really like, unless you have the pedal he's using, which is the whammy pedal that he rocks between making it sound an octave higher and 2 octaves higher. Really anything I would show you is just, you know, I can show you what he's playing, but it just doesn't sound like it unless you have that pedal, so I kind of thought better of it. So anyway, but that's the riff that goes on underneath the solo. And then we have the bridge section coming out of the solo, which is going to give you another octave workout. Sounds like this. Back to that familiar riff. So that is just doing, you know, basically tremolo picking, which is just down, up as fast as you can. Now, to help that, take your wrist and bow it out just a little bit. If you raise your wrist, it's a lot easier than doing it like this. So to pick across strings like that rapidly, that's just kind of raise the wrist. That's the. Now I'll just take you up the scale here. Basically do this for a measure of each. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, and then when you get to 17, you're going to continue the picking, but sliding, repeatedly sliding into it. So 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15. So tremolo, pick that all the way up. All right, and then we're back to that. Now that riff continues, and then after it's played for, you know, basically 2 full times through, well, the riff itself, the whole part, so it's actually 8 times you're playing the riff. Then we basically have another overdub, which is the D minor 7 chord. So you're going to bar across the 5th fret there, and then play the 6th fret on the B, 7th fret on the D. And then we're to this. That's just that octave at the 5th fret, tremolo picked, and then the low E 3 times, and then 6 at the 5th fret. And that's it for all of Killing in the Name. It's a fun one to play. It's got some nice, cool groove and riffs, and some fun guitar parts. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.